Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Retail Rant Podcast. As always, the Ranty Bastard is here with you to discuss and destroy all things retail. And this week's episode is a tribute to a lot of the folks out there working late at night, dealing with some really, really weird shit, really strange people, stupid people. And there's a few pointers that you'll think about, because this one actually made me think. And think about the things that you hate a customer to say to you, because my guest this week, who you can find on Twitter at Third Shift Chick, the gas station gal, she brought up some really good points, and I think you should pay close attention when she starts talking about that. So, on a side note, as you know, the couch party elections are in full swing. And I've decided that I'm going to take on a couple of my candidates this week because, well, quite frankly, the previous two candidates, they didn't really have a shot anyways. So hell, I'm going to go for a 2-for-1. So first up, we're going to talk about Tom from the Drunken Dork podcast. He may be Twitter's favorite son, but Tom Coe is wrong for America. After having lost in the King Dork primaries, he's now trying to weasel his way into the White House through the couch party elections, blazing the way with radical plans like eliminating the army to save money and placing the nation's security squarely in the hands of Ambush Bug. Tom Coe is a man whose list of potential cabinet nominees include Bruce Wayne and Steve Eiserman. So wake up, America. It's time to face facts. If you want a president who can actually grow a playoff beard, come this November, make sure that you vote for the Ranty Bastard. This message is brought to you by the Friends of TRB Pack, which actually has no money because they all work in retail. All right, so it's pretty evident that Tom doesn't need to be your next president. And, also in the running is Mr. Ryan Anderson from the Nerd Rage podcast. And you're going to learn some things about Ryan here that you'll probably find kind of disheartening in a potential leader of the free world. So check this one out. Ryan Anderson claims to be Team Cap. However, according to tax documents acquired by the Ranty News Network, Ryan claimed over $4,800 in Iron Man comics as a taxable deduction in 2015. Is this the kind of man that you want leading the free world? Of course not. That's why it's up to you to vote TRB 2016. This message is brought to you by the TRB Pack, which actually has no money because they all work in retail. So there you have it, folks. The clear choice for your Couch Party presidential nominee is TRB 2016. And while I'm speaking of the Couch Party crew, you should definitely make sure that you download the Couch Party app so that you can listen to all 8 fantastic shows for free. Not only are you going to get this show, you're going to get Miserable Retail Slave, Couch Party, Drunken Dork, Project Archivist, who's staying like Switzerland in this whole election thing. He's out. Nerd Rage podcast, our newest additions in the Mixed Feelings podcast, and the Grime Lords. So check out the app, download it for your Android device now. It's not going to cost you a dime. It's the best way to get the best shows, I guarantee it. So, that being said, let's fire up the rant this week. So kick back, crack a cold one, leave Ranty a 5-star review on iTunes, and as always, be sure to wear someone else's name tag. If you're listening to this show right now, it's because you have experienced retail hell. The unoriginal bastard who thinks that because it doesn't scan, it must be free. The people that have no respect for a public restroom. The customers that think that they can come in and haggle like it's some kind of goddamn flea market. The corporate office that cuts payroll, raises tasks, and expects more sales. Oh, those things never happen. Bullshit. This is the Retail Rant Podcast, streaming directly to your ear holes in medium definition audio quality. And now we bring you the Retail Rant Podcast, already in progress. That sucks. I don't know if I could do third shift.
Well, I've been doing third shift. I've worked it in previous jobs, but on this particular job, I've been here a little over a year or there. And I also go to school part-time. And that particular schedule with third shift is the only thing that I can get full-time with that will work with my school schedule.
Gotcha. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because nobody wants to be stuck at the gas station for the rest of their lives.
No.
Although the gas station by me, you'd think it's a retirement plan for some of these people.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a few older people work for the gas station, but it's something that it seems really difficult for them to get the hang of. And we've got a really old system. I mean, the system is dated 92. I mean, that's like Paleolithic in technology years.
Holy shit. 92?
Yeah.
Wow, I joke about running Windows 1812, but Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, for us, it's nothing. But some of the older folk that get hired, they have a really hard time with it. And then with the speed, because a lot of times they don't want to work nights. So you have cranky older people that come in the morning working with cranky older people that are trying to do this job. And it's just not a good mix.
It sounds like a government program, geriatrics helping geriatrics.
Exactly.
That's just a scary thought in and of itself.
Yeah, there was an older woman that worked for us, and she recently quit because she was diagnosed with lung cancer. It was really sad.
Yeah.
But when she was working there, she was actually, I think she said she was in her 60s, and she grew up way in the mountains, and I live in Kentucky.
Okay.
Yeah, so she grew up way in the mountains in the general region that I'm in, and I mean, when she was 6 years old, I think she said she had 7 siblings, and her mom, because it was cheaper, she would buy tobacco by the bag, and she taught all of her kids to smoke to curb the hunger.
Wow.
So, yeah. And she had a really hard time doing math, but she was the sweetest person you ever want to meet. And she was smart. She just wasn't very educated, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really, really, really people smart. But she got flustered really easily. And it was really hard for our customers to be patient with her because she would argue with them. She didn't care.
She'd be like, no, I'm not taking your fucking coupon.
She did. She
Wow.
did.
I like her already.
Yeah.
It's a shame she had to step out. I'd consider relocating and hiring her.
I know. She's so sweet.
Oh, that sucks. Well,
but yeah.
So anyhow, welcome to the Retail Rant podcast, of course.
Thank you.
Nothing live. It's all recorded.
Right. No, I know. I understand how that works. My husband and I, a friend of ours runs an online magazine, and it's a horror goth magazine kind of deal. And we'll go out to different places and, conduct interviews with, celebrities that are in the area and stuff like that. So I get the whole editing process and all that stuff. It's crazy.
It's fun though.
It is.
It's a lot of fun. It's therapy for me.
Yeah, it's not really my forte, but my husband enjoys it.
It's very cool. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting genre to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like I said, this was the perfect way to dissuade work conversation at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
So that we could just, we basically just text each other and write down notes. Oh, I just had this asshole of a customer. Oh, hold on. Let me get my pen and paper. Go ahead. Yep, they're going to be famous this week. Mildly famous.
That's one of the reasons I made the alternative account for a gas station gal, because I was bringing my work home with me and my frustrations, and it was driving my husband insane. I'm like, I need another way to get this out. So doing that has been definitely a lifesaver as far as getting my frustrations out and complaining about people. And honestly, I don't have a lot of issues with the job itself. It's people. And, I have a great boss, so I really don't have much to complain about as far as that goes. But yeah, I was driving my husband nuts when I come home. Oh, you don't know what happened today. And I'd go into it and he'd just sit there and,
Just kind of cringe in the corner of the couch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ugh. Yeah,
But
I think that Tara that I had on a couple weeks ago, she summed it up best. Line from Clerks: "This job would be great if it wasn't for the customers."
yes, I was listening to that earlier. I totally agree.
Yeah, that's it's amazing how a movie from 20 some years ago totally summed up where we are now.
Yep.
So, well, so of course, gas station gal, you work in a gas station,
Mhm.
and as anybody that's listened to the show knows, I I get my coffee or whatever else I need almost on a daily basis at the same gas station. And one thing always seems to come up. It's no matter what time. If I get it first thing in the morning, if I walk up midday to get a cup, and it's people that can't seem to read the giant numbers on the pumps and properly convey that to the person working the register.
That is so true. Happens every day.
I, I don't know how you could
The
possibly put up with it.
oh, I've gotten to the point where I don't even care anymore. I just turn into a smart ass. And I mean, there are so many regulars that come in that they're used to me now. But at first it was, getting to know everybody and getting so frustrated with them. What drives me nuts is, honestly, with as far as the pumps are concerned,
Hmm.
is with our general region, people always come through this area who are traveling to Florida or Canada or anywhere in between because we're very, very close to the East Coast, like to the ocean,
Hmm.
but not close enough. So, people are always coming through. And considering we're a small town, it's amazing how much traffic that comes through here, especially for Kentucky, because Kentucky is not really, there's three major cities in Kentucky. There's Louisville, Lexington, and I can't remember the third one because I'm not originally from here. But I mean, anyway, they come through, and a lot of people from Canada, and I don't understand this personally, but in Canada, they will approve the pumps for their customers before they pay. Now, obviously, here we can't do that. People will drive off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And they come through, and especially the older folks, they will get so angry when we don't approve the pumps for them before they actually pay. And they come in. I will never forget one time a lady came in, and now this was just a few weeks ago, and never met this woman before. She's not like a regular traveler or anything. And she comes in. It was a Sunday morning, dead quiet, about 6 a.m. And my shift to 8. And without even being polite, didn't come in calmly or anything. They kept trying to start the pump. I wouldn't allow it. And she comes in. She's got her hand up in the air, waving her card around. Didn't even allow me to greet her. She just starts yelling, "This isn't accepting my card. Why won't it accept my card?" At this point, I don't know if she's from Canada. And I started to ask her, "Are you from Canada?" And I didn't even finish the sentence. And she goes, "Well, I'm from Canada and it should work. Blah, 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 blah." And I said, "Well, that's why it's not working, because you're from Canada and it doesn't accept the Canadian zip codes." And she yells at me. She says, "Well, I called the card company and they said it would work." And her face is beet red. She's this little old lady, and she's got that kind of look where you have customers that come in that are dressed really well. They have that entitled air about them. And I'm just staying quiet and let her get it out. And I said, "Ma'am, I don't know why your card's not working," because she demanded I tell her why her card wasn't working. And I said, "Honestly, that's above my pay grade. If you have to have that answer, the answer to that question, you're going to have to call the card company, because that is way above me."
Yeah, welcome to the
And
gas station slash your financial institution.
exactly. I mean, it's amazing. And she said, "Well," and it didn't stop there. She said, "Well, can you just approve the pump?" I said, "No, ma'am, I'm not allowed to do that. You have to prepay." And she continues to yell at me, "I don't know how much it's going to take. How am I supposed to prepay if I don't know how much it's going to take?" And I said, "The way our pumps work." Now, you know how some gas stations, whenever you go in, and you prepay, it will actually take out more than what you pre-authorize
Yep.
to ensure that the money is taken out. Ours don't do that. Whatever you authorize is all that's is allowed to be taken off your card. And if you don't pump that amount, then only what you pump is subtracted. And I was trying to explain this to her, but it was for some reason difficult for her to understand that. And she said, well, what if I need a refund? Are you going to give me the cash? And I said, I'm sorry, ma'am, I can't give you a cash refund for a credit purchase because it was a credit card. And she's like, well, how am I supposed to get my refund? And she starts yelling at me again. And I said, listen,
Oh my God.
I explained it again. And she just refused. And I said, okay, how about this? If you put $25 on that pump and you only pump 10, that's all you're getting charged. And she said, oh, fine, just put 25 on it. And it took all of it because gas was cheap. She just didn't. And it's like, how hard is it to do the math in your head also? Look out at how much the gas is, how big of a tank do you have, and what is the tank on? Do the math. And it's amazing to me how many people will sit there and they'll wait for me to pull out the calculator to know the exact amount or roughly the exact amount of gas that they need to prepay for.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, and I thought it was bad enough when they just gave you the wrong pump number.
No.
You know, I want to prepay for pump 8, and then they're parked on 10, but the numbers are only but 3 feet tall on each one.
Yeah. And that's honestly not too much. I don't have too much of an issue when people do that. I mean, sometimes I'm like, really? Really? But it happens all the time. So it's just one of those things you get used to. But a lot of people, they just get so upset and then they'll blame you. Oh, God. It's always your fault.
Always.
I'm usually by myself for that full 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And at least, on my side, our store is split up into a restaurant and a gas station. As far as the gas station, I'm usually by myself all the time. And, on every shift, you're supposed to clean. So when I'm by myself, I'm allowed to lock the doors because, really, how much business is there going to be between midnight and 5 a.m.? So I have to lock the doors 15 minutes at a time. And I go clean the bathrooms. I'll stock the cooler, and I actually do all of this stuff every night. It amazes me, and this is a whole nother can of worms on this, but the turnover rate of a gas station is so incredibly high.
Oh, yes.
And it's not even because of my boss. Like, I've worked a few different jobs. I've been in management. I've been a supervisor, hourly worker, all that stuff. And she's not bad at all. I mean, she will do everything she can to make sure that you are comfortable there and all that stuff. It has nothing to do with management. I mean, seriously, we get some lazy people in there.
No,
lazy.
Say it ain't so.
I know. So, anyway, I'll lock the doors. Well, this was, I want to say maybe 6 months in to work there. I had locked the doors and gone to clean the bathrooms. And I had everything sprayed down and I needed to go get bags. And, nobody can see me. I'm down this little hallway. And I'm getting these bags out to change the cans in the bathrooms. And
Mm-hmm.
I've got bleach soaking on the toilets and everything. And I hear somebody pulling at the door. And it drives me insane because there's a sign on the door. On one side of our store, the doors stay locked because it doesn't face the road. And so most of the time when people try to rob our store, which I have been there for once or twice where the store was almost robbed or somebody did take a big ticket thing. They stole it.
Ugh.
But I have not been held at, any kind of, knife point, gun point, anything like that.
That's fortunate right off the bat.
Yeah. But so that one side stay closed. People will come in on that side and they'll just pull at the door and pull at the door. And they're glass doors and they shake them and the whole side of the gas station shakes and it just, I can't stand it. Like, read the sign, use your reading eyes. We were taught to read, use them. And they don't do it. And then they pound on the door and they throw their hands in the air and they flail their arms around and they're like, why won't you let me in? Yelling through the door. And I'm like, now I just ignore it. I just act like I can't hear them.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first started, I'd have to tell them you have to walk around, and you would be amazed. It's, I don't know, maybe 25 feet. And they make the biggest deal about it. I can't believe you made me walk around the store. That's just such horrible customer service. Sorry, that's the rules.
Yep.
I'm not
And
going to
it's
apologize.
amazing how often they want you to change the rules just for them because they are so much more important than anybody or anything else.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
and I hear it quite a bit. Again, at the local spot, that when the lotto machine goes down,
Hmm.
you would think that the zombie apocalypse has started alongside nuclear fallout. Like
Yeah.
somehow lives depend on this.
Yep. Um, just on a side note, if I get a little too talkative, you can stop me. Just let me know, okay?
Oh no, why would I?
Well, no, I'm just saying if you want to get a word in and I just keep rambling on, just let me know.
Oh,
But
trust me, they
um,
hear my voice enough on this show. This show will probably get much higher ratings than any time I'm by myself.
okay. But to finish that little story I was saying earlier, so I'm cleaning the bathrooms and I can hear the door, going back and forth, and there's a sign on the door. Doors will be locked for 15 minutes, cleaning restroom, sorry for the inconvenience. It's on there, it's very polite. And then it stops. So I go ahead and I start cleaning the toilets out, and it's two different, obviously, it's a men's room and a women's room. And I come out because our restrooms are obviously on the inside, whereas most gas stations seem to be on the outside. I don't know. But anyway, I came out of the women's to go to the men's, and I hear the phone ringing. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. I come back out of the men's, the phone is still ringing. And it keeps going and going and going. And the 15 minutes wasn't up yet because I time it. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it because they're already being bitches. I'm not going to do it. So, uh, the about 14 minutes is done, and I'm done with the restrooms, cleaning them. It's all good. No more bleach. It's safe to go in there. And I come out. I unlock the door, and this girl gives me the bitchiest look you could ever give someone. Like, if looks could kill, I probably would have been dead thrice. It was ridiculous. So I get up to the register, and she walks around and she picks up one bag of cotton candy, and that was it.
Now, was do
Hmm.
you know if she was the one calling?
Yes, she was. Cause I'll get to that in a
Oh,
minute. Yes.
oh.
Now, right down the road, less you can see it. You could throw a stone and hit it. Is a Speedway. Okay, and they've got more of a selection than we do.
I was
So
waiting for you to say it was like Bob's Cotton Candy Emporium.
yeah, it was some really general brand of cotton candy. She
Yeah.
comes around, she gets up to the register, and I wasn't trying to be rude to her, but I was already irritated.
Oh
And for
yeah.
me, the best thing to do is stay quiet. Because you get customers that just piss you off, and the best thing to do is just not open your mouth because you know you're going to blow up. And that's how I felt because she was just blatantly rude. So she looks at me and she goes, "Do you have a corporate number?" And I said, "You know what? I don't know, but we probably do. You might want to Google it." And she just looked at me, and I didn't say anything else. And she just, she stomped out of the store, slammed the glass door. It was ridiculous. And as far as I know, she didn't report it. She probably couldn't find the number because I looked it up. I couldn't find it. So,
See, that's a nice problem to have because where I work, the name of the company is built into the 800 number, so it's very
oh
easy
God.
even for an idiot. And yeah, I'd have people call and complain about the stupidest stuff. Well, my clock said 7:30. Well, I'm
It's not my
sorry.
fault you can't set your clock.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, you skipped daylight savings time. It's still
Hmm.
6:30. You're not coming in. And yeah, the early morning assholes and the last minute assholes that want to yank on the door, it's like they somehow transform into some variation of an orangutan because even the most petite old lady who's maybe 75 pounds with her purse somehow automatically gains the strength to rip doors off hinges because they gotta have the cotton candy.
Yeah.
It never ceases to amaze me that, if a door is locked, that means it's not open. if it's attached to a business, it means we're probably closed. I don't
Yeah,
think it requires much more explanation.
exactly. And that's one of the things that, like I said, it drives me up the wall because there's a sign on the door. How hard is it to see the sign? It's not like our windows are really dark. If you just look around, and I don't know. And that's the other thing too, is they miss the trees in the forest because they won't see the sign. And then people will come into the store on the correct side, and I'll greet them and they don't answer me. And I'll greet them and they don't answer me. And finally I just say, "How are you doing?" And I say it a little bit louder because I don't want to yell. I don't like yelling. And they look around the store. Now, I am directly in front of them, and they will look around the store, and they're like, "Where are you? I can't see you."
God, is
Are you
that you?
serious? Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I'm over here. And they'll go to the restaurant counter when no one's over there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? Just look around. How hard is it to see another human being in a store? No
Yeah.
wonder people lose their kids. They can't see them. They're not looking.
And it's amazing that in any kind of retail establishment where there's not, like a light on the register at Walmart,
Ugh.
they just automatically assume that because there's a cash register right there and there's nobody standing there, hey, that's the shortest line. I'm going to go over there and check out really fast and not stand here with the other 20 people and the only employee that I see.
Exactly.
Again, another thing that, having been in retail and just having common sense, if I wasn't in retail, how? How is it even possible? I mean, like you said, they'll walk over to the other side and just stand there.
Mm-hmm.
But then they'll have the gall to bitch. Well, I waited to register for 15 minutes. To quote manager John, who's another great Twitter follower. Were your feet glued down? No, move,
That's
dummy.
great.
I mean, nobody told you go stand there and wait. You did it of your own volition, like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna yell at me.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh, now,
Go ahead.
so you mentioned, of course, you're on third shift, and so you're probably one of the lucky souls that works in a gas station that doesn't have to deal with Mega Millions.
No, I do.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so do they start buying them like right after they didn't win the $400 million?
No, that's the funny thing. People they buy them up like crazy, which obviously that's going to lower the chances of winning. The more people that buy those lottery tickets, the less chance you have of winning,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many more people getting their tickets in the pot. So, after they don't win, if there's a huge jackpot and nobody in that area wins, their sales will slow down for a couple weeks. Because they're just so upset that they didn't win, and they're like, it's such a waste of time. But they always fall back into their old habits.
Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing I always see is first off, you always get the guy that wants to buy $200 of lottery tickets, but he wants to wait.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've stood in line and watched the poor guy or girl at the register just like the physical eye roll is present.
Mm-hmm.
You can just read their stature and the way their shoulders are slumped. And it's like, I hate this guy. I hate this job right now. And they'll stand, and then they'll go back and count them. Meanwhile, there's only 40 other people that need to tell the cashier the wrong pump or buy a cup of coffee.
Oh. But the other thing that goes with that,
Mm-hmm.
one of the worst combinations I want to say is when you have the guy there buying like $50 worth of lottery tickets, and they're all replays. So you're standing there replaying all these tickets. Now what I do is I have a calculator with me, and I'll add them all up because the machine does it, but sometimes it's inaccurate by a few dollars.
Mm-hmm.
So I add everything up while I do it, and I do it as fast as I can. But right in the middle of me doing that, it happens every time. Somebody will come in, and for some godforsaken reason, people cannot figure out how to put their cards into the pump card readers. I don't know why, but they always do it wrong. And they're like, well, that's not what the picture says. Now, imagine, if you will, a card, and the card corner is folded up so you can see the strip.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it says the card is facing down, but here I'm going to be nice and fold this little corner over so you know which side that little stripe goes on. And every time they put it in upside down. I'm like, I can't. And when you pull the card out, you need to like kind of press down on it a little bit so that you make sure it reads the magnetic strip. And
Right.
a lot of times people won't do that. And that I get because, the pumps are old. They don't know.
Well, see,
But they'll come in. Huh?
Well, see, the other thing that kills me is they're probably watching all the bank commercials. Because if you watch those, they're swiping the numbers at the bottom of the card, but the strip is sticking up. It's like, wait a minute. I know you're trying to do a brand thing here, but you're not even demonstrating proper use of the card.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you mentioned the readers. When it doesn't work at the pump, do they have a tendency to come in and go, this is a chip card. Do I have to do something different with it?
Yes. And like, that's what I was going to say is that I'll be in the middle of doing all these ticket replays and they'll come in and there'll be a line of people. And they think that because they have what they would consider a more immediate issue, that I need to stop what I'm doing and not service any of the other people in the queue and get to them right then and there. And there have been so many times where they come in and say that, or they'll come in and say, well, I need your help right now. And I'm like, I'll gladly help you as soon as I take care of all these people in line. And they get so angry. I'm not going to be rude to them, and I'm not being rude to you, so back off. Go down to Speedway, go down to one of the other gas stations. I don't care. But right now, this is just not the time. If there was no one else in here, I'd be glad to come out and help you. But It doesn't work that way. Like, they have this strange idea that, because they're older, because they're rich, because they're whatever, whether it's negative or positive, that for some reason their priorities and their problems come before everyone else's. And that's just not how this works. And it amazes me that they still have that way about them. Especially, I don't have anything against older people, but older people are some of the rudest people.
I would agree, and if Mrs. Ranty was sitting right here with me, she would probably be banging on the counter and just losing her shit right now, because unfortunately she deals with older people pretty much all day long.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that, at least in her line of work and a few others that I've experienced, that older, especially affluent or rich white women, are the worst.
They really are.
Oh, they can just take you for a loop. And I mean, I get it when, I have customers that, they're handicapped, and these guys are regulars. So you know what? When they say, hey, can you take my card inside, grab me this and this, bring it back out, I'll sign the slip if you just kind of do the legwork for me, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That's quite possibly something outside of your control, that circumstances. So you know what? I'll help you out.
Exactly.
But if I see you stomping feet, pissing and moaning, from 50 feet away, I'm not in a mode to immediately jump to your rescue. I'm like retracting and kind of ducking down. Shit, she's getting close. Damn, she is coming in here. Oh, shit.
Oh, I know. That's every day. Every single day I see someone like that. I'm like, please don't come in here. Please don't come in here. I say a little chant, please don't come in here. And then I see her body language change, and she turns around and she starts stomping her way into the station. And I'm like, oh, fuck. I got to deal with this right now.
It's the worst.
It's horrible.
It's the worst. The entitlement, I think, is the biggest thing that kills me with it.
And the other thing that annoys me about that is the number of people that come in, and this would get on my nerves no matter what job it is, but people who will undervalue your job. Now, where I live, there's a lot of factories, and the problem is people will come in there and they act like their job is so much better than yours, and that you're like, I had a coworker, and this older lady came in, and she actually told him, you must be a high school dropout because you work at a gas station. You must be stupid. I mean, I kid you not. She was that rude. And he
Wow.
said, well, actually, I have a degree in engineering. And she was still rude, but she kind of held her tongue a little bit. And that's the thing. It kills me. People assume that just because you work at a gas station, that you either don't have your diploma, that you're a criminal. And honestly, nobody can work at a gas station if you've got something on your background.
Oh, no.
No one. And then they automatically assume, you don't have any ambitions in your life. And no, I'm trying to get my bills paid. You got to work. Everybody's got to work. There's always got to be someone to deliver the pizzas. There's got to be someone to serve you your food, and there's got to be someone to give you your gas. Don't undermine people. Don't disrespect them just because you think that your job is so much better. And that irritates me so much when people do that. Because, like, who do you think you are? Like, if I wasn't here, you wouldn't even be getting to work.
Exactly.
And I mean, if you don't mind me, kind of letting this go into another topic, but there was one thing I definitely wanted to make a note of, which was 3 things people say that I hate. And I think every retail worker will understand this. Because I work third shift, so many people come in the morning, or throughout the night, and they're getting off of their work shift at the factories, or they're going in, or what have you. And I will have been cleaning all night. I take my breaks. I don't get unpaid breaks because I'm by myself. So most nights I don't even get a full 15-minute break. They're always broken up. So a half-hour lunch could take me an hour and 45 minutes just to get through. And it's really irritating when all I want to do is sit down and have my lunch and people keep flowing in, but I deal with it. So what irritates me is when people will come in and I'll be finally, I can sit down. I've been cleaning. I've been doing this, doing that, doing this, running around, and helping my boss out with all these different things around the store, that she doesn't have to worry about the next day, just to help her out. And I'll finally sit down and someone comes in and they say, oh, well, I guess it's time I make you work for once tonight.
Yes.
And who the hell do you think you are to come in here and act like I don't do my job, like I don't work? You have, in one sentence, you have insulted my work ethic, you have insulted my job, and you have insulted my livelihood. And livelihood by that, I don't just mean job, I mean this is what I do to pay the bills. You're making it sound like I don't care about this job because I don't have major bills that need paid.
Yeah.
No. There are so many insults in one simple sentence, and they think they're funny. You're not funny.
No. And in all honesty, I was waiting for you to go with they don't see you immediately at the register. And so they go on for about 30 seconds. Hello? Hello? Anybody here?
Oh, yep.
Hello? I'd like to pay.
They will do that too. Yeah.
That one just drives me nuts.
Yeah. It gets me. I know the other night, I actually tweeted about it. A guy came in. He walked through the doors. Now, I wash all the coffee pots, and I deep clean them because they don't get cleaned all day.
Mm-hmm.
They get wiped down. They don't get a good scrubbing.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, they turn brown. So, I'm trying to keep things looking nice. And I'm standing there washing out these coffee pots. This guy walks in. I greet him. He doesn't answer me. I greet him again. He doesn't answer me. And he's walking around the store. He's looking around all over the store. I don't know what he's looking for. And he didn't answer me. So I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to handle this? Thinking to myself. So I just said, how are you doing? And I said it louder. And he yells at me. He goes, I'm fine. How are you? And I was the one being rude. He walks out of the store, comes back in, does another circle around the inside of the store. And I said, is there something I can help you find? Because I was trying to get his attention and he wasn't paying attention to me.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, I'm trying to find someone who I can give my money to get gas.
Look no further, sir.
I mean, the biggest face palm you can imagine. I wish I could have done it. And his excuse was, oh, it's too early for me. Sorry. No, it's not too early. You're just dumb.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yep.
And that leads me into the other thing I hate. And oh God, I bet you can relate to this too. When someone walks in and they say, or you greet them, how are you? And they say, oh, I'm good. Working hard or hardly working? I hate that with
Uh,
the fiery passion of 1,000 suns. God, I hate that so much. Like, that doesn't. What?
yeah, I
I
mean,
just hate it.
and it's the most canned and hacky response you can possibly have.
Exactly.
And I've tweeted it before. I've said, hey, customer, how are you today? Me, fine, but in the back of my mind, that's none of your fucking business.
Yeah.
Like, I'm getting paid to do this, and I get that you're being cordial, but you know what? Let's just get down to brass tacks.
hmm And
Uh,
it's hard not to have that feeling and to have that thought, and because I feel that way too a lot, and I just think, okay, well, I'm going to be polite, and I'm going to try to be, not take things a certain way just because I'm frustrated. I've been here all night. Most of my days are 18 to 21-hour days
mm,
because of my school schedule and my work schedule and all that stuff. And I try to get naps when I can, but sometimes it doesn't happen. And I try to be as polite as I can, but if someone is just being blatantly rude, they're not going to get the polite me. They're going to get the fuck out of my store as fast as you can
yep.
kind of attitude. And then, I mean, one night, one of my other pet peeves, and this will be the last thing as far as what people say, is when people come in and say, smile, it's not so bad. I
Oh,
hate that.
yeah, because they know everything that's going on in your situation at every moment of the day.
Exactly. Like, why are you telling me? To me, it's somewhat insulting. And also, is that the best you could come up with? Really?
Yeah.
And one night I actually had, I didn't have it, but a customer just went off on me because I was having a very bad night. I had gotten into a huge argument with my husband before I came to work, and I try to leave that stuff at the door,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't help it. When you have an argument with your significant other, it stays with you.
It does.
And you worry about it, and it's on your mind, and you're like, I could have done this better, or they could have done this better or differently. And so this was all, just running through my mind. And, I like working by myself. Don't get me wrong. I like it better because I don't have to deal with anyone. I get the job better done if I just do it myself kind of thing. And other people, they're great workers. I just work better by myself. And it also gives me time to I got to work things through emotionally, like speaking. I got to work them through, and then I can let them go. And it was just one of those nights. I was having a night. I had to work out my emotions, had to work out my thoughts. And I had at least 5 customers throughout the night tell me I needed to smile, that my life wasn't so hard, my job wasn't so bad. And first of all, why do you think you know why I'm unhappy right now?
Exactly.
And second of all, this is telling me that the first thing you noticed about me wasn't the fact that, I'm here, I'm doing a job, and I'm going to be as polite as I possibly can. The first thing you noticed was a negative thing, which was that I wasn't smiling. And in your mind as a customer, I really believe that in the customer's mind, they think if you're not smiling, you must be depressed. You must be so upset. And it's like, I just have a resting bitch face. That's all it is.
Deep psychoanalysis from a customer is nothing that no retail employee ever has asked for. I mean, even if they are a psychologist,
Yeah.
nobody's ever
Oh,
said.
especially then, because then they think they know everything.
Oh yeah, but how are you doing today? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it kept happening over and over again. And it was, by the time this one particular customer got to me, he was number 5, number 6, whatever. And the thing that kills me about this is and I don't mean this in any kind of negative way against men or women, but it's always men will tell women they need to smile. But how often have you seen a female customer tell a female worker she needed to smile? Or a young male customer that they needed to smile. Very rare have I seen that, but if you get especially older gentlemen that come in, whether you're smiling or not, they will say, you need to smile more, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. Like, why are you telling me what I need to do? And I've noticed that this is a habit among older male customers. And it's not, like I said, it's not a gender thing that I'm against anything. It's just an observation. And so, all night it had been all men who was telling me this, and it doesn't really bother me, but it's just something I find interesting.
Well,
And
and you bring up a good point with that too, because as a male, now I'm having to think back, but I couldn't tell you the last time a female customer told me, "Hey, smile," or
yeah,
do something physically to improve your disposition towards me. It's
yeah,
always been a male, and I'm going to have to agree with you that it's typically, yeah, I'd say probably the 60 plus crowd.
yeah. And I like it just anyway. By the time he got to me, I had been so fed up with it, and he looks at me, and I had just mopped the floor, okay, had signs up everywhere. He walks in. It was raining outside. On top of this,
Mm-hmm.
he slips a little bit, but he doesn't fall, and he's like, "Oh, that was real slippery. I didn't see any signs." Oh my god. Okay.
Probably
And
grabbed a
then,
sign to break his fall.
he actually hit one with his foot. He did. And he comes up to the register and he goes, "Smile, girl. Ain't nothing wrong with your life." And I just kind of took a deep breath. I didn't smile. And I said, very as politely as I could possibly muster, because like I said, I was in a bad mood, but I
Mm-hmm.
was doing my best not to let it show, but it's going to show a little bit. And I just said, "Thank you. What can I get for you?" And he's like, "Well, you can get me a smile." And I said, "I appreciate that. But is there anything else I can get for you?" And he told me what he wanted. And at this point, he is like slamming his hands on the counter. He wanted like dip or chew or something. He picked that up, slammed that down on the counter, and he tells me to smile again. And I just said, "Okay, I appreciate that. Is there anything else that you need today, sir?" And I wasn't rude. I didn't raise my voice. And he got so mad. He paid for his stuff. He ripped the change out of my hand. He went outside. And as he was walking outside, he's yelling about how rude I was. I didn't smile for him. I'm such a rude bitch, blah, 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 blah. And he goes to his truck, and I can still hear him through the door yelling all the way to his truck.
God.
And I'm like, maybe as, and this is, if there's any people that are listening to this and it's a guy and they're guilty of that, telling a woman to smile, my honest advice on that, not that anyone's asking for it, but if you really want a genuine smile from a young woman or a woman in general, compliment them.
Yes.
Do compliment them in a very specific way. "I like that pearl necklace you're wearing," or "You have beautiful eyes," or "You look nice today." You don't even have to be super specific. Just, "You look nice today." And I mean, some women, yes, they'll be a little bit like, "Are you trying to creep on me?" Some of them will,
Yeah.
but most of the time they'll say "Thank you," and they'll smile, and that will heighten their day a million times.
Yep.
But tell them to smile, and they're going to be like, "Really, the first thing you noticed about me? I just did my makeup, I did my hair, I try to look as best as I can for this job, and the only thing you noticed is that my teeth aren't showing, but you couldn't take the time to notice anything else about me?" That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And furthermore, fellas, if you're gonna make a compliment, make it non-sexual.
Yes.
Or just, and for God's sake, this happened a few weeks ago, and I can't remember if I talked about it on the show or not. But I've got a younger female coworker who's about
Mm.
18, 19 years old. She's good looking, and this older guy, and by older, I'm going to guess he was probably in his 70s, uh, used a line on her.
Oh God.
And you'll probably appreciate this with the number of passer through your town. He said, "Well, I'm not from around these parts, but would you mind giving me directions to your house?"
Wow.
And she handled herself. She, ha ha ha, yeah, okay. So what do you need? But
He kept going, didn't he?
he wanted to. You could see it in his eyes.
Oh.
He wanted to, and I'm standing back, and I'm just thinking, "Go ahead, fucker. Keep going. Keep going. Try it one more time." I'll just be like, "Sir, how can I help you? Because you
Mm-hmm.
don't want directions to my house." But oh yeah, and again, the compliments, hey, I like the color of that shirt, or
Hmm.
even if you comment on the name, oh, Cassandra, that's a beautiful name.
Yeah.
It's harmless. It's not taken as an advance, by probably 90% of females. I'm sure there's that 10% that's like, don't read
Yeah.
my name tag.
Yeah. They there is. Yes.
But, you know, don't walk up and go, I saw you fixing those potato chips over there. You got a nice ass, girl.
Exactly.
And the problem is the ratio is different because 50% of guys will do that.
Oh yeah.
And they'll be
I've had
like,
it happen to me a few times. Um, you mind if I share a story real quick?
no, absolutely.
Okay. This was pretty recent. I I was on my break and we have a little dining room and there's a giant window and I can see through it if someone comes in. So, and we also have a beeper on the door. So it's just, it's a good way to make sure. And I'll come out of that room whenever I see people coming in or I know they're coming in before they do, and I'll come out of that room. Well, this guy comes in, and I was doing something in this dining room. I think I was cleaning actually, and I walk out a little ways after he had already entered the store, and I greeted him. And I mean, he's walking towards me,
Hmm.
and he doesn't answer me, but he looks me up and down, and he bites his lip, and he does that thing like,
Ugh.
and I was like, oh my God,
Oh.
really? And I was just I went with it, and I said, are you okay? And he goes, what? And I said, are you okay? Because you just made this really weird face. And he looks at me and goes, well, I answered you. And I said, no, you didn't. You just bit your lip and looked at me. And he got real white in the face, and he goes, oh, I thought I answered you. I said, no, you didn't. And he goes, well, I'm okay. How are you? I said, I'm fine. And he starts picking some stuff out. He goes, I'm sorry if I weirded you out. I'm just really high right now.
Wow.
I was like, okay. And I mean, the amount of people that come in there and they think that I've got like this vast knowledge of the drug dealers in the area. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding. This kid came in one night and he goes, do you know where I can get some Xannies? And I said, no. No. And I mean, another guy walked in, and he tried to come in on the side that was locked, and I told him you have to walk around. And he's like, oh, well, I just got hit by a car, this young kid. No, you
What?
didn't. Yeah, he said he got hit by a car. He's like, I can't walk. But he walked all the way from a hotel all the way to there. And he's like, I just got hit. They just nicked me in my knee and I can't really walk. And I'm like, okay. So I let him in. He's walking around, no problem. I said, wow, you sure do walk straight for someone that just got hit by a car. And he goes, oh, well, it does hurt. And then he starts limping. Well, this kid, he's 18. He buys all this candy, all this pop, and like all kinds of tobacco products. And as far as I could tell, his ID was real. So I went ahead and rung everything up. He pulls out a huge wad of cash, and this is drug dealer huge. And I mean, there are enough of them that come through that I know them when I see them, but I don't know them personally. I don't know what they sell. I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
And he gave me too much money on purpose to see if I was going to take it, and I didn't. He gave me $20 just because I was honest with him. And so sometimes you do get weird customers that will give you a hard time, but especially at this particular station, but they'll, like, if you deal with it, they'll tip you tremendously, and it's weird. Like,
Wow.
he just gave me, and I needed it. I needed gas money, and I hadn't told anybody, and so every once in a while, you do get not like good stuff happening, and I've got some regulars that come in, and we're cool. Like, I like talking to them. People will come in and talk to me for an hour at a time, sometimes, and we have good conversations. But it's just sad that the ratio of that kind of good, customers, clientele, whatever you want to call it, and the ones that are just idiots, it tips. The idiots are always heavier than the nice people.
Oh yeah. And
So
you bring up the drug dealer question, and I would probably add that to your list as a fourth thing as an insult. Just because I worked the third shift at a gas station by choice, because even if you were, I don't know, even if you just didn't want to work, you still chose to take that job. Why is it, though, that just because I'm on the third shift, I automatically know all the drug dealers? Like,
Yeah,
do I look like I'm high right now? Do I look like I have a handful of Xanax? No.
yeah. It's it's crazy. Like I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of people. The other night, I think this was 2 nights ago, someone came in and it was this woman and she wanted, this is something that irritates me too, and I asked her how she was doing. She didn't answer me. She just told me what cigarette she wanted. And there was a time somebody did that, and I looked at them and I said, "How are you doing?" And they said, let's just say they said Marb Lights in a box. And I looked at them and I said, "That's a really weird way to be." And they said, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I just asked you how you were and you said Marb Lights in a box. That's a really strange way to be. How does it feel to be Marb Lights in a box?" And ever since then, every time I ask them how they're doing, they actually give me a proper greeting. So,
It's like,
win on that one.
I'm sorry, but Newports are a strange emotional state to be in.
Exactly. But anyway, she asked for these cigarettes, and I said, "Well, do you need a lighter?" Because a lot of people come running back in for lighters,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
just try to have their back, and do you need a lighter? Do you got it in your pocket? Is it in your car? Whatever. And she goes, "Oh, girl, I need a lighter, but I can't. I'm pitching pennies because, I just got charged $500 for prostitution."
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, you got no problem telling me that. That's great.
There's absolutely no shame there whatsoever.
Nope. And like, listen, you got to do what you got to do to pay the bills. That's fine. But I just wouldn't consider that something to be proud of.
I mean,
Your
even though
pension.
you're at the gas station, I don't think it's really a bragging point that you need to bring up.
No. And I mean, you're pinching pennies, but you're going to go ahead and buy some cigarettes. Like, I get it. It's a thing that makes you feel good. We all have that thing. Like, I like chocolate, so I get it. But I mean, come on, $4.55 for a pack of cigs, and then you've got a lighter that's $1.26. I don't think that's going to kill you.
Or, well, at least she didn't turn around and say, "No, y'all have matches for free, right?"
Oh, I used to get that a lot, but we don't. So most people have learned.
Nice. Well, I know you got to head off to work. So, first of all, thank you very much for taking the time. And where can the people find you in the Twitterverse?
My name on there is Gas Station Gal, and there's an underscore between each word. So, and then if not like that, then my name on there is Third Shift Check.
Right on.
So, but just real quick, if I may,
Yes.
I started my Twitter account just to get steam off, like just to let off steam, get stuff off my chest. And it just amazes me how much of an awesome support system there actually is with all the retail workers that are regular on there, and they stick together, and they will respond and talk to everybody. And I just think it's great, because even somebody understanding is just it's such a great support system, even though most of us don't even know each other. And I think it's awesome. So, it turned out to be way better than I thought it would be, because my goal wasn't to get a lot of followers. My goal was to just say, hey, I'm just going to bitch.
Well,
and get it out.
And the thing I love about it is it can be somebody working at the Dollar Tree in Saskatchewan,
Yes.
and it'll be the exact same bullshit that we have to put up with where we work. It'll probably be word for word the same line we've heard in the last 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's absolutely amazing. You're right. It's a really good group, and the group is far flung. I mean, there's, people that love the Kardashians, but they'll follow you on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I get a new follower. Yeah, let's see what this person's about. And it's like pictures of Justin Bieber. I'm like, well, if that's what you like. But then you scroll through a little bit, and then it'll be, some diatribe about how somebody can't read where it says,
Mm-hmm.
Credit on the red button. It's like, okay, they get it. They get it.
Yeah.
So I have to appreciate that. So when the customer is yanking on the door, there's a nice sign up there that says, "Sorry for the inconvenience. We'll be back in 15 minutes." So you come back after 15 minutes, and they want to just start verbally berating you. Before you walk out to the gas pump and take out the little squeegee for free use to clean off the windshield and crack them right upside the head with it, make sure you do us all one huge favor and do what?
Wear somebody else's name tag.